everyone, it's Miss Linda from the Lehigh Library. We have some fun stories for you today, all about ponds. And we'd like to mention we appreciate the authors and publishers giving us permission to read their stories. So, as you can see, I'm a little red on top, and that's because I was in Utah Lake yesterday and I got burnt. I didn't have my mom there to put sunscreen on me, and I didn't do it myself, so got in a little bit of trouble. So, our first story is called The Pig in the Pond. I love this story so much. This pig gets in a little bit of trouble, but it is well worth it. Alrighty. This is a story of Nilligan's pig. One day, Nilligan went into town. It was hot and it was dry, kind of like our weather right now. The sun shone bright in the sky, and Nilligan's pig sat by the pond. The ducks were in the pond and they said quack. The geese were in the pond and they said honk. They were on the nice, cool water in Nilligan's pond. Do you think that pig is just so hot and uncomfortable? The pig sat in the sun. She sat at the side of the pond and she looked, and the ducks went quack and the geese went honk. And the pig said oink. She was so hot, but she didn't go in because you see, pigs don't swim. So the pig sat in the sun and she got hotter and she got hotter. And the duck said quack quack. And the geese said honk honk. And the pig went oink oink. She was so hot and miserable, but she didn't go in because, do you know why? Pigs don't swim. The pig sat and she gasped. She looked at the water. It looked so cool and it would feel so good. The ducks went quack, quack, quack. And the geese went honk, honk, honk. And the pig said oink, oink, oink. And then she stood up. She turned around and around. And then that pig stopped her feet. And she twirled her tail. And the most amazing thing happened. Just look. Splash! The pig jumped into the pond. Just look how surprised that duck is. And these guys are shutting their eyes. It must have been quite a splash. And the pig went splash, 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 splash. And when she was done splashing, the ducks and the geese had been splashed right out of the pond. Look at all of them laying around. I like this one hanging in the tree. That's so silly. And the pig was comfortable in the pond. But the ducks and the geese were quite upset. Quack, 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 said the ducks. And the geese went honk, honk, honk. And all of that meant very loudly, there is a pig in the pond. Well, the ducks and the geese started complaining, and soon the news spread all over the farm. The goats knew, the sheep knew, the cow knew, the chickens, the cats. Everyone knew that there was a pig in Nilligan's pond. What are they going to do about it? They all went right down to the pond to see this pig in the pond, because as you know, pigs do not swim. And then, guess what? Nilligan came on his cart. And all of the animals looked at Nilligan like, well, what are you going to do about it? And Nilligan looked at his pig in the pond, and he just kind of smiled. Nilligan looked at the pig in the pond, and the pig said, oink. And Mr. Nilligan took off his hat. Milligan looked at the pig in the pond, and the pig went oink, oink. And Mr. Milligan took off his pants and his boots. Milligan looked at the pig in the pond, and the pig went oink, oink, oink. And Mr. Milligan took off his shirt. Milligan looked at the pig in the pond, and the pig went oink, 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 oink. And Mr. Milligan took off his underwear. Uh-oh, uh-oh. And then, splash! Milligan joined the pig in the pond. Look how funny he looks. He's even plugging his nose so he doesn't get water up it. And the frogs are splashing and the fish are splashing. And the pig had a smile on his face. And you know what happened next? Are you ready? Sploosh! All of the animals jumped in the pond with Mr. Milligan. Here they are. I love this picture. Look, he has a duck on his head. Oh goodness, and the chicken have their feet up in the air. I've never seen such a funny thing. And they were all nice and cool in the pond. And that is the story of Mr. Milligan's pig. I love that story. I think it's so silly. It's fun. And I do like to get in the water and play on the boat. Even if I get sunburned, it was worth it to play. So we have one more story that's about a pond. And when I told Miss Laura I was going to read this story, she went, "Oh, that's my grandkids' favorite story. I read it to them all the time." And then she started to read it to me, and I thought, oh, Miss Laura has to read this story to us. So we're going to let her read her story.
Hello, everyone. So I'm so excited to be here, and yes, Miss Linda did say she was going to read this most beloved story of ours in our family. Does your grandma ever read to you? That's so fun. If you can do that, it's just kind of the best. So this is the story we're going to read. I bet you know it, called The Wide-Mouthed Frog. What do you think this wide-mouthed frog likes to eat? Should we see? All right. And I have to show you all the pictures because I think they're so fabulous. All right, so the wide-mouthed frog. The wide-mouthed frog said, "I'm a wide-mouthed frog and I eat flies." And he said it shooting out his long, sticky tongue. Can you see what's on his tongue? He does like to eat flies. I wonder what some other animals like to eat. Let's see. As he hopped along, he met a blue feathered bird. "Well, I'm a wide-mouthed frog and I eat flies," said the wide-mouthed frog. "What do you eat, bird?" I eat wiggly worms and slugs," replied the bird, snapping his pointy beak. That is pretty pointy, huh? All right, you ready? Should we see what another animal likes to eat? Next, the wide-mouthed frog met a furry brown mouse. "Well, I'm a wide-mouthed frog and I eat flies," said the wide-mouthed frog. "What do you eat, mouse?" "Well, I eat crunchy seeds and juicy berries," replied the mouse, wiggling her whiskers. Look at that. Look at these fun whiskers that she has. Yeah, and I think this is a pretty cute mouse, and I'm not a real fan of mice. Well, the wide-mouthed frog was meeting lots of animals. Who do you think he's going to meet next? The wide-mouthed frog was still catching flies when he saw a big green alligator. "Oh, I'm a wide-mouthed frog and I eat flies," said the wide-mouthed frog. "What do you eat, alligator?" Oh, can you see this? The alligator's eyes are looking at the frog, and the frog's starting to get a little bit nervous. I wonder what the alligator's gonna say. "I eat delicious wide-mouthed frogs," replied the alligator, showing his sharp white teeth. Oh no, what do you think? Oh Loudmouth Frog stopped catching flies. Then he puckered his lips and made his mouth as small as possible. Can you see that little tiny mouth? Ooh, you don't see many of those around here, do you? He said, and he leaped into the pond with a splash. Oh, do you think he got away from that alligator? We think he did at our house, yes. Isn't that so great? And he leaped in the pond with a big splash, just like the pig did. All right, thanks for letting me read. We'll turn it back over to Miss Linda.
Didn't she do a fabulous job? I love all of her voices. We're going to have to put her to work doing some more stories. Thanks for coming to Storytime today. I have to tell you, this will be our last story for a little bit. We'll be back in September with some more, so we'll see you then. Bye.